So we're ready to get started here with the inductions now for the pioneers and legends. We induct into two categories, the pioneers being those folks that didn't directly race, but everything else that encompasses the sport, and the legends being the race car drivers. Every inductee gets a chance to give a speech, and they also have one or more individuals that give them their introduction and share some stories as well. So if this is your first time here, that's a little bit about how the program will work. We'll go back and forth between the pioneers and the legends all the way through the 10 inductees that you see on the stage with us here tonight. Back to the legends category. Inductee number 8 on the evening is Leslie Essary. And to say a few words about Leslie will be Chesney Essary, Garrett Essary, and Clarissa Meyer. It's all yours, guys.
Leslie Essary was bitten by the racing bug early in his life. He spent many nights in the shop and at the track with his dad, Kenneth Essary. His own career officially began when he was 14, driving a late model at Monette for half a season. He built a street stock and began racing weekly at local dirt tracks at the age of 16 before transitioning into late models again 2 years later. He has ran on dirt tracks all across the country, area asphalt tracks, and a variety of different styles of cars. We may be a bit biased, but we're not sure there are many vehicles out there our dad cannot drive and drive well.
We found an old program book that covered 1988 when he was driving for Gene Snyder. He was leading points at Highway 13 Motor Speedway in Bolivar, Lebanon I-44 Speedway, Monette Speedway, and the Merchants' overall point fund standings. The interviewer asked Leslie what his favorite part of himself was, which apparently stumped him for a moment. Our mom Bonnie quickly piped in his blue eyes and his dark black thick curly hair, one of which he still has. He said after thinking for a bit, "Oh, I guess not quitting. I usually stick with something and I start until I get it right." I know this is a trait many of you have seen exhibited and a key to his success.
We asked my dad what some highlights of his career included. He named winning the MLRA championship twice, his numerous tracks championships, including Monette, Bolivar, West Plains, beating the Larry Phillips King of Asphalt one night, but his favorite memory is winning the O'Reilly All-Star Super Challenge race in 2001. Only those that were in the top 5 in points in O'Reilly All-Star Series, Mars, MLRA, NCRA, OA, SS, and Super were invited. It was a perfect night with his car in the track. He couldn't be caught. He was easily in a field of top 25 of the top racers, including Joe Kaczynski, Rex McCroskey, Bill Fry, Jeff Taylor, Al Purdy, and Terry Phillips. I always looked up to my dad and my grandpa, and I knew I wanted to race like they did, and I had some good teachers and examples of what a great dirt racer should be. I got to race several times against my dad, and my favorite night through is when my dad and my grandpa and I raced, and Justin loaned the car for my dad to race with us. Thank you, Justin. At Monette, KY3 was there, and one of the few, if not only times that 3 generations have ever raced on the same track at the same time. I'm proud to say that I got to race with those 2 old Hall of Famers.
Growing up in a racing family, normal is a little bit different. During the summer, each weekend would be spent at a dirt track, sprinkling 3 different ones between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Family pictures with our dad often included a race car, trophy, and a large check while we're all covered in dust. As a summer baby, Garrett's first race was at 5 days old at Monette, and he took his first overnight racing trip at the age of 10 years old. Days old. cruising teeth on the gear shift of the old crew cab on drives to the races. The pit hill at Lebanon taught me about gravity and I tumbled down it. Someone caught me, thankfully. People you meet racing become friends and extended family members. We had numerous people live in our house, share meals with us, and join us for holiday celebrations that we met through racing.
The Essary name is widely recognizable due to the success that our family has had in dirt track racing. Upon telling people our name, we are often asked, "Do you know those racers, Leslie and Ken?" Including my college kinesiology professor, who was giddy with excitement and sidetracked our lecture for the day when he asked me questions about my dad when he found out he was the Leslie Essary he watched at Joplin Speedway all of those weekends. Referencing the same interview as earlier from 1988, the writer wrote, "Leslie Essary may be the son of a rather well-known driver, but he's definitely holding his own on the track and proven he is of great talent on his own." We have to agree and believe the next 25 plus years that he raced in the Ozarks have solidified that statement. We can't think of a more deserving man and race car driver than our dad for this honor. We are so excited for him and are privileged to introduce the man we know as Dad and Papa now, Leslie Essary, as the next inductee.
I can remember going to the fairgrounds and sitting in the stands and watching the races before Dad, Ken Essary, started racing. Always liked racing, and once Dad started running, went to a lot of races with him. I feel like I had really good teachers between him and William Todd. I got the opportunity to drive for Gene Snyder, learned a lot from Gene and Mike Pickens. I guess it was Doug's Pool and Spa, Jack and Doug Randall, that gave me the opportunity to run a bunch of different places. We ran the Florida Speed Week several times. We ran the UMP Summer Nationals a time or two. We never did get to run all of them, but we did go up and run. Then I ran for Hawkins Title Company. Ray and Maureen Hawkins and Harold Group was part of that bunch at the time. Was with Ray and Maureen when I started driving for them. We did speed weeks once or twice, and I really appreciate the opportunity of getting to drive for the people that I got the chance to drive for. Really, really good people. Learned a lot from each and every one that I got to drive for. Wouldn't have been near as successful if it wasn't for the help that those people gave me. Had the opportunity to race at Monette, which Garrett spoke of earlier, with 3 generations on the track. That was a really neat deal. Need to thank my wife Bonnie, kids Clarissa, Garrett, and Chesney. Most people don't understand the amount of work that goes into getting everything ready to go and everything that has to be done. There's ice chests, fire suits, water jugs. You know, it's unbelievable the amount of work that it takes to get prepared to even go to the track. Need to thank my mom because she took care of the water jugs and the fire suits and all of that stuff before I was married. Had a lot of good crew guys over the years. Doug Long, John Ormsby, Keith Henson, Mike Pickens went to a lot of races with us. We used Jeff Baker's pickup to tow the car to the races. A lot of times, Chris Powell helped me a bunch. Keith Henson, we went to a lot of races, just me and him. Johnny Henson, Keith's brother, he drove me to the track before I was 16. That's how I got the car there, was with Johnny drove me over there. Kenny Bowling and Crane Auto Supply, they helped when I first started, which I know a lot of people remember the Crane Auto Supply on my dad's car. They was really, really good for racing. Helped a lot of people. Justin Wells, when we was in a bind and no one else could go, either Gary, Justin's dad, or Justin one went with me. This is a really, really neat deal, really honored. I'm not sure that deserving to be in here, but really appreciate all the help everybody's gave over the years, and everybody I got the opportunity to drive for. Thank you very much.